Hi, and welcome to the podcast where we're all besties because we love all things Bravo, pop culture, and can't stop talking about it. I'm Caitlin Marshall, your host here at Besties by Bravo, where we are in a safe space to share our thoughts.
That's my opinion!
About the Bravo celebrities and celebs we love, hate, and love to hate.
So be cool. Don't be all, uncool.
Because it's all for fun. And there is a possibility that we may hit a nerve. We have been blocked by Lisa Rinna on Instagram. You guys, Jen Shaw blocked me.
Yeah, I guess.
Either way, we're all friends here. So, thanks for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hi, besties. Thanks for joining me for another week. This is also a video podcast, so those of you that are seeing my swollen, tired face, it's because I was out last night at the Danny Pellegrino show that was here in Denver. Y'all, if you ever have a chance to go see him, do it. It was so much fun. He was so wonderful. I can't say enough great things about him, to be honest. He's great. So that's why I'm looking a little less cute than usual. Y'all don't give a shit. I know you don't. And so if you haven't listened to Danny's podcast, Everything Iconic, oh my God, it's wonderful. Again, he's just so funny. I very much relate to him in the sense that the Midwest attitude is very similar to, well, Oklahoma is like Southern Midwest-ish. It's kind of hard to place. Yeah. I saw on BuzzFeed one recently, actually. The stereotype about Oklahomans is that we are the wannabe South. Like, first of all, we say y'all, we say over yonder, we say, fixing to get around for supper. There's nothing wannabe about that, okay? So I'm going to move on. We have had quite a week, and I feel like I say this every week, but we really have had a lot of big announcements, a lot of stuff happening because it's Bravo, and they assume we don't need sleep. So we're going to start with BravoCon was announced. I'm sure y'all know about this, but I'm just going to go ahead and chit chat about it for a second. It is confirmed. It will be in Las Vegas, and it will be the weekend of November 3rd through the 5th. The weekend before my birthday. Thank you very much. I feel like I earned this because my last birthday, y'all, I had RSV with my child, and I was the only buzz I had going was from the Robitussin I had the night before and severely regretted and was just like sitting on the living room floor just dying. So I feel that I have really racked up some points in the you earned a great birthday this year, Caitlin. And I tell you what, I think I did. I did, because what better way to spend your birthday than at BravoCon? Now I just have to sell a kidney so that I can be sure to be able to afford these tickets, because your girl is just going to go all out. And I'm also terrified they're going to sell out like immediately. So we'll see how this goes. Okay. Another great news. Southern Hospitality got the green light for season 2. We knew they would. I knew they would. There was no way they wouldn't. And they deserve at least 2 more this season and another season to really let us all get into the meat of it. Now, okay, I'm just gonna, what we all know. Sandoval decided to do an interview, his first one, with Howie Mandel. Yeah, Howie Mandel, the Let's Make a Deal, the America's Got Talent. He's been around for a while. He's a comedian. But what's most, well, Howie knows absolutely fuck all about Vanderpump Rules. He didn't even know who Sheena was. If you don't know who Sheena is, friends, you have no business being the very first interview that Tom Sandoval does in the midst of all of this. Andy, Bravo execs, it doesn't take, they're not happy. Not happy at all. And in case you're wondering how I know that for certain, well, last night, I'm recording this Thursday, last night on Watch What Happens Live, Andy's jackhole of the day, Howie Mandel. Yeah. And Sandoval, I think. Now I'm saying this all out loud, now I'm confusing what I actually heard him say. I may or may not have had more than 1 or 2 glasses of wine at Danny's show, which, again, so much fun. It is so much fun getting together with Bravo fans. That is really how this podcast was born, how the name Besties by Bravo came to be, was just the simple fact that when you finally, like, the fan base is so enormous, but meeting people like in person who can sit and talk Bravo shit with you, it's not that easy to find. And I think you probably know what I mean. It's surprising. Most people are like, no, I don't watch TV, or I don't have time for reality TV. Like, get out of here. We know you watch it on the down low. You're sitting there like consuming your TMZ and Page 6 with Sandoval. So come on. Okay, so yeah, they are not Bravo, Andy. Everyone's just not only scratching their heads as to why Tom Sandoval chose Howie Mandel to be his first post-Sandoval interview to tell his side of the story. It's not only that, but before the reunion airs, what? Why? This, it's odd, to say the least. Okay, so I'm just going to, and y'all don't have to go listen to it. Don't worry. I'm on it. I listened to it more than once. I have some notes here because, you know, I think I'm just going to start here. Howie and Tom know each other through one of Tom's bandmates, who is one of his best friends. This man is married to a woman, I believe her name was Kimmy, something like that. And she is also very good friends with Howie. And so Howie and Tom met at their wedding. Interesting, because they're not even, Howie and Tom are not actually friends. I'm not entirely certain still why it was Howie of all people, but okay. I mean, Lisa Vanderpump just did Steve-O's podcast, so I guess we're all just going to go on this really strange ride together. So anyway, that being said, also, Howie's daughter, who's his co-host, she is a huge Bravo fan, very big Bravo fan. And so she was really excited to have him on the podcast. Great. Okay. So, again, Howie just was like, I just don't get why it's not that big of a deal. What happened, what you did. And, you know, he's saying it's wrong, but it just, you know, whatever. Okay, Howie, the way you could have had maybe someone else on your podcast that it would have, I don't know, made more sense for your demographic. It would have made more sense for just anything in general. No one gets it, right? I'm sorry. I'm just going to look for my pen that has disappeared, apparently. Without my pen, I can't take my notes. So bear with me for a second. Friends who are watching the video, this will be edited out of the audio. Cool. So lost my pen. Great. Guess I'm just going to have to wipe the makeup off my face and write things down. Okay, got it. Anywho, we're just gonna make a note here. Okay. Digressing. Okay. Bear with me. Back to it. The Howie. Wow. So Howie being the person, I'm not really, no one gets it, if you want to know the truth. And apparently Andy and Bravo are part of that group that doesn't get it at all. So I'm making so much noise. Rookie over here. Rookie. Here we go. Making notes. Okay. Howie says over and over, I just don't get it. What's the big deal? Well, you know, Howie, it's a big deal because of the length that the lengths, I should say, that Tom and Rachel went to hide this affair, and how they were so blatantly, I mean, to have an affair where you are in love with someone and living with someone else that you are pretending to still be in a relationship with, apparently. Listen, Tom basically just gaslit the shit out of all of us with this interview. It's a good thing I was working out when I was listening to it and lifting weights and it was a leg day for me, because I was like, oh, I'm wearing myself out so much that I can't scream. So Tom was essentially on this podcast saying, like they were basically just roommates, and he pretty much blamed Ariana for not seeing that he was cheating on her. Oh, you heard me right. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's exactly really what he did. He said he couldn't understand how Ariana could not see that this was happening, that she turned, quote unquote, a blind eye. Now, he also, I guess he didn't even watch Sandoval, or Schwartz. I always do this, friends. I'm sorry. Sandoval apparently didn't watch Schwartz on Watch What Happens Live when Schwartz was sitting there singing like a canary and, Bubba-ing and face wringing hands all over the place on Watch What Happens Live. But he said, I wasn't mad at what he was saying, whatever. And then he goes on to also say that he and Ariana were essentially a quote unquote brand. Now, because of the book that they wrote, if you didn't know this, Danny Pellegrino, again, who I went and saw last night, he actually was the ghostwriter for their book, their Fancy as Fuck Cocktails. There is something that there were things that Danny told us at the podcast that I don't want to go on mine and give the scoop on, but let's just say, now Danny was also friends with both of them. He's friends with Ariana as well, that Sandoval may have had a moment where he was very much not nice to Danny. And that pisses me off even more at Sandoval, because I cannot imagine, now I don't know Danny personally, but what I can say is that I cannot imagine on any planet someone actually getting angry or hurtful or mean with that man, but being Danny. But okay, we're just going to leave it at that. And it's upsetting to me, very upsetting to a lot of people, I would say, who, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. So going from there, that brand, quote unquote, Tom Sandoval is trying to say that they were essentially staying together because they are a quote unquote package deal, because they are the brand of themselves. Like, dude, no. Okay. Ariana is perfectly fine without you, as we can see. And Tom does mention that in this interview. Yeah, man, she's like blowing up. And so, yeah, I mean, good for her. Yeah, she didn't really need you to do that. But I think it's great that because of the fact that you failed to see what a great person you had in front of you. Now, she's not perfect. None of us are. I'm not just going to sit here and turn her into a saint after all of this. But because there are always two sides to every story. There are actually three. Person A, person B, and then the truth. So Sandoval is a proven liar, and I have not seen much evidence of Ariana being a liar. So I think we can all draw certain conclusions here. Now, Tom was saying, I still love and care about Ariana, whatever. And, he says he tried to break up with her multiple times. Okay. Interesting, because on my last episode, I did say not to be all Yoda and Mr. Miyagi, but there is no try, there is only do. So I don't know. He says that he tried to break up with her and that he started therapy and started going to therapy with her so that he could break up with her in therapy. Yeah, you heard that right, friends. Uh-huh. Who says they're going to go to therapy? I mean, I guess maybe that's like not, here I go, but it may not be like the dumbest idea, of finding a way to consciously uncouple, I guess. But that being said, yeah, so he says he was going to therapy, trying to figure out what was wrong with him or trying to get himself to a better place, because it was, in fact, after guys' night when they were all at the Mondrian at the Sky Bar, that he and Rachel, were talking until the sun came up. And this is his description of how this happened. He was locked out of his house. And as they were talking, their faces just kept getting closer and closer. And then they just were making out, dude, in his backyard. At Ariana's home, sir? Is that where you were making out with her? Okay. Got it. Got it. Cool. Yeah, so And he says he starts tearing up. This cracked me up. He starts tearing up. I haven't felt that way in such a long time. When we kissed, there was just something there. And as he's trying to monologue, because remember friends, he was an actor. As he's trying to monologue, Howie's daughter's phone starts ringing. It interrupts him. And it was God and the universe themselves were hey, fuck you, Sandoval. We are going to not only interrupt this monologue that you have prepared, we are going to interrupt it in a way that people start laughing at the same time. So, yeah. Okay. So that's also why he apparently went to therapy. And he said, this is a quote, that he broke up with Ariana in therapy on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day. Now, listen, I have never been that person that's oh my God, if I'm in a relationship and you don't shower me with flowers and chocolates and dinner and take me anywhere I want to go, I'm going to go shopping and about I'm not really, Valentine's Day is just kind of okay, yeah, it's cute, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay. Really, that's how I feel about it. A New Year's kiss with my significant other means more to me. That's just me. But of all the days, come on. Now, he says that she also at that point was no, I don't want to break up. I want to fix this, what have you. And this next thing he said, you guys, friends. I can't believe he said this. So then he's okay, well, then Ariana was just so sweet and wonderful and attentive and caring. I mean, the person who gets that version of Ariana is going to be just so blessed and taken care of. And they're a really lucky person. You absolute twat. I don't know what else to call you. Okay? You absolute, oh my God. Now, he also was going on about how Raquel is so funny and smart and witty, and we just have this friendship that kept growing closer and closer, and we just couldn't stop talking to each other, and we're talking to each other all the time and always trying to see each other. Now, remember, guys' night was before Sheena's wedding. We're going to keep piecing this together. So it was before Sheena's wedding, and Sheena's wedding is where Rachel and Tom Schwartz make out, right? That they made the biggest deal about. And also, this was, I guess, well, she made out with Oliver right before this. And then, so it was Oliver, and then it was Tom Sandoval after guys' night, and then Tom Schwartz. Okay. Schwartz said he found out about a quote-unquote one-night stand that they had, and he found out about it in August. Friends, you remember I said last week that August, well, there wasn't a whole lot of month left after Sheena's wedding. So he either found out at Sheena's wedding or after, but I don't believe it was after. Once again, Tom Sandoval says that he was really trying to push Rachel and Tom Schwartz together because she's just so awesome. Dude, I was just crazy about it. I was hyper fixated. She's this gorgeous pageant girl, blah, blah, blah. You should totally try and be with her, dude. Okay. So, well, then Tom eventually kind of admits that he whatever. He said that Sorry, losing my train of thought here. Excuse me. Take a sip of water. Those of you watching this are probably like, what is she even doing right now? So here we are. What else is new? Okay. Now, moving forward. He said that he told Schwartz about his Raquel kiss after the wedding. Again, how? I don't believe it. I don't. And so basically at that point, he and Rachel were just trying to see each other as much as possible, spending as much time as possible together, all of that, right? Now, he also said that this was real cute. He said that Ariana punched him and said, I'm not going to do the show anymore. I'm going to be done. If we break up, I'm done doing this. I'm leaving. I'm going home. I'm not doing this anymore. And he was pissed about that, saying that he told one of the producers that he wanted to be held accountable in the way that he said, Katie and Schwartz had to show their divorce. Rachel and James broke up on camera, broke off their engagement. You have to show everything. And then he tried to insinuate that Ariana said she would self-harm if he broke up with her. Really, sir, that was such a big thing to accuse her of. And he, again, said that she punched him at one point when he was breaking up with her. And I don't know if that's him trying to insinuate that black eye he had was from her. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Sandoval needs a good swing. I'm not going to lie. But we don't condone violence, especially, in relationships, things like that. So I don't know. I have a hard time believing anything that he says. So, okay. Now, he also said that he's been sober for 4 days and it's really made me reevaluate everything. Okay. So you haven't had alcohol or weed or drugs in 4 days. So you think you've had an epiphany. I mean, listen, everyone, if you're getting sober, everyone has to start somewhere. What I'm not trying to insinuate is that that's not commendable, but it's so very Sandoval of him to make something out of it that I don't really think he should be. I don't know. It's just almost, he's just being overly dramatic. That's all I see there. That's basically the interview. And like I said, Andy said, hey, they're the jackals of the day, because why would you do this right before the reunion airs? Wow. So I'll jump to another thing. I don't know if y'all caught the Watch What Happens Live that Melissa Gorga was on. Ooh, honey. She wasn't seated next to Andy. Cecily Strong was. The housewife is always seated next to Andy. And they were getting snippy with each other, I would say. Especially Melissa, saying to him, well, you're not a therapist. Are you an accredited therapist? What, do you have those credentials? Wow, girl. You're really trying to show you're not going to be back on this show. I don't know. That was weird. Cringy at best, I would say. So, that being said, let's go ahead and get into the episode. I'm going to take a very quick break, and I will be right back with more of Vanderpump Rules, and it's getting good. All right, let's get into the episode. Okay, so we pick back up where Schwartz and Rachel were making out, which I, again, don't ever feel like I needed to see that ever in my life and would prefer it if I never had to see that again. Thank you very much. Now, okay, so Schwartz says it feels illegal to be kissing Raquel. Well, maybe because it's not that she's so young. It's that I don't know. It's like her attitude is so juvenile and kind of infantile. And I'm not the only one who's made that connection there. Christina Kelly made that comment about how it was an insult to babies to really kind of act like Raquel is a baby. When Sheena calls Lala to ask if she knew or saw or whatever, heard that Schwartz and Rachel kissed, that whole scene, I mean, the way it played out was quite beautiful. While the entire group of anti-wedding, I don't know how James and Allie ended up around Katie, Christina, and Lala so much, but it does really show the divide in the group at that point. The fact that James is hanging out with Katie. Can you believe that? I can't believe that's where we are now. And when watching Katie's face as she's hearing this phone call that's on speaker, and her face just falls, and it's like, oh, my heart just broke for her. And I know that y'all are probably so tired of me being so team Katie, but I just have always seen that she's more than what everyone tries to label her as, I guess. So there you go. And I'm not going to fucking apologize for it. Okay? Anyway, Lala said Rachel was a disgusting swamp creature. Lala is the friend you want to have when you're going through a breakup. I feel like she's going to be the one who will stand up for you. She's going to be the one who's going to go ahead and say that his new girl is disgusting, even if she's literally a beautiful pageant girl. She will totally be that person for you. And I've said before that I'm very surprised to be saying this now. I feel like I would probably, in real world circumstances, actually be friends with Lala on a certain level that I think she's funny, and, she would scare the shit out of me a little bit, but, what can I say? I like being on my toes. So, Sheena was just very upset Lala wasn't there, missing very special moments. I get it. I've been married before too. It's, okay. And Katie says she has all this hate inside of her about this kiss. And really, I don't blame her. And it's for people who keep saying, you're broken up, who cares? She didn't say he couldn't kiss anyone at all, ever. She asked that out of quite literally, let's see how many people are in that group. There's Charlie. I'm just going to count every single female in the group, right? Because as far as we know, Schwartz only likes women, okay? Unless it's Sandoval who, well, okay. I'm not even going to go there. So okay. Sorry. There's Charlie. There's Sheena. There's Christina. There's Lala. There's Raquel. There's Ariana. And I don't believe I'm forgetting anyone. Am I? How many people is that? How many? That is 6 women. 6 women that she asked he not hook up with. And out of those 6 women, okay, the only ones who were not in a relationship were Rachel and Lala. He could have hooked up, made out with whatever he wanted to with anyone else, except for that. That was her request. I do not believe Katie was saying you can't hook up or make out with anyone we mutually know. She just didn't want to have to watch it on camera. And in the preview, we see Katie brings her cute little 20. I'm not going to call him cute. I'm so sorry. Oh, that was mean. I apologize. I'm going to move on. Katie brings her little 25-year-old man around in the next episode. And I think the reason why she does that is because, well, Schwartz went ahead and gave a fuck you to her. I don't think she would have brought around anyone on camera, at least this season, had he not done that. So, I'm taking it personally, and that's just how it is. But she made a great point. She said, I hate them both, But I hate Tom the most. Raquel owes me nothing, which is true. She is absolutely accurate. Raquel does not owe her anything. They are not actually real friends. That is a fact. Yet, just the respect of another woman coming to you and saying, please, we're not even divorced yet, which Schwartz keeps throwing that word around as if they have finalized their divorce already, which just shows how obtuse he actually is. And you can use as many large words as you like, Schwartz. You're ignorant about a lot of things. Can ignorance be cured? Yes, it can. But that is something that you have to choose, because stupidity cannot be cured. You can't help it if you're not that smart. You can help it if you're ignorant. Ignorance is a choice. Thank you very much for coming to my TED Talk. I will continue with the episode now. This is the other thing. I don't understand the absolute vitriol toward Katie. I mean, I think it's starting to become a lot more visible now just how terrible Schwartz has been to Katie. I made a TikTok the other day. I thought, you know what? I have so many Bravo opinions that I believe, from what I see and am told, are kind of unpopular. So I'm going to start a little series on TikTok. And I made one showing just how verbally and at one point physically abusive, yes, you heard me, physically abusive, that Schwartz has been to Katie. And the number of people, it was one of those TikToks that I look at it and it's like maybe 300 views. And I'm like, that was a dud. Oh, well. And then I go to bed, literally put it out at night. I go to bed, I get up in the morning, and I open up my phone, and it's like, when I say thousands, I mean, this isn't like a major blow up or anything. I'm not trying to brag about it in this way. I'm just trying to really reiterate how prevalent it is now that people are seeing this. It's, I don't know, maybe like last I saw maybe 130,000 views, and just climbing with, thousands of comments at this point saying, oh, this is not an unpopular opinion, saying that Schwartz is a monster, and Katie has just been trying to defend herself and trying to survive in an abusive relationship. That's what it's been. I don't think Schwartz has any idea how abusive he is, but most men who are abusive, I'm going to say most people who are abusive, do not know that they are. And it's really unfortunate because they need to change their behavior. It seems that Brock is someone who recognized he had abusive behavior in the past. He's the exception to the rule. That is what we would call him, the exception. And so Brock is one of the very few cases that I pray to God is truly a changed person. And the more I see him, the more I like him, but that is also the way it is with a lot of abusive men. But we have not seen that, and I think at this point, Sheena would not fucking put up with that now that she has a child. Something changes in you when you have a baby. Just does. A lot of things change. Anyway, I'm going to digress a little bit. But my point with that video is that I have had so many people really just jump on and go, oh my God, no, I feel the same way. I'm just now seeing how terrible Schwartz is to her. And the physical aspect, yes, pouring drinks on someone's head, that is called battery. You may not do that. And he did it on camera twice to her and her best friend. Thank you very much. That was Stassi. TED Talk over. No, it's not. I'm lying. The problem is, at the end of the day, Katie just wanted Tom Schwartz to love, cherish, and respect her as much, at least as equally, as he did Tom Sandoval. She never got that from him. That is all she wanted. And in the end, Tom Schwartz is now getting the brunt, or not the brunt, but the shit end of the stick. He could have had a wife that loved him, and everyone goes through rough patches in their relationship, but this was on a whole other level. Okay. Excuse me. I do find it interesting that while Allie, James's new girlfriend, seems so sweet and zen and chill, interesting and appreciate that she has no issue standing up to James. I do like that about her. Something about her I just like. Everyone's been like saying, she just wants to be on a reality show because she was on a reality show when she was 18. Man, the shit I wanted to do and be and say and was when I was 18 years old is not the same person that I am now. She could have found her way probably on another reality show if she were that desperate to be on one. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't see this person going to date James Kennedy in a desperate attempt to be on a reality TV show that is in its 10th season. Okay? Just my thought. And what James was saying, James and Lala were just like, they feed off of each other, man. They really, those were the soulmates that never happened. But they were getting a little gross talking about Rachel and the whole thing with, Schwartz wanting to bang her and whatever, and how Lala was calling her a complete and total whore or something. That was intense. I don't really like that word because I don't think it exists. It's not a real word. It's not a real thing because that word can only be used so subjectively that there's no such thing as a slut, because someone could think someone who kissed one person their entire life is a slut. So, okay, I'm going to stop. My soapbox is deteriorating and I'm losing you. I know it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, now we are going to get to that scene that we have been seeing the previews of, friends. Oh my God. Well, so let me just start with Raquel looks like a freaking idiot with those glasses on at this after party that's in Sheena and Brock's room. It's just so blatantly obvious to me that she is literally living her dream. I mean, and guess what? How excited is she that she didn't even have to marry James Kennedy to make this dream come true? She was living her best life. She was sliving, if you will. She was. And then to just throw it all away like that. My God, why? So then all of them, that would be Tom Sandoval, Rachel, Sheena, Ariana, and someone was sitting in between them, I felt like, that I'm forgetting or missed. In between Rachel and Ariana, I feel, and I'm not remembering who it was. Okay. Anyway, and Tom is doing his Raquel. And when Ariana is like, Tom, stop. When she's like, you're acting fucking weird. Yeah, you are acting weird. Why? Because you're having an affair. And when Ariana's saying, like, in confessional, oh man, I thought basically that everything was kosher in a sense. And now to find out that Raquel and Tom Schwartz made out. Wow. Girl, the way you just genuinely did not know how bad it really actually was. And then Raquel says, they're kind of all going on about it for a second. And Raquel says, can we have fun now? And Tom smacks her on the ass. He smacks her on the ass and says, yeah, let's have fun. Fucking loser. I'm not going to lie. I probably would have been Katie, Christina, and Lala in bed. That weekend looks so goddamn exhausting to me. It's probably one of the most exhausting wedding weekends I've ever seen in my life. And I'm just going to say that spa that Sheena made them go to the next day and trying to make them mix their own like exfoliating stuff. Like, I know it probably sounded cute and fun when you saw it on the menu or on the whatever to be able to do this. But I swear to God, to be at that spot, they better have had IVs, some Zofran, cheeseburgers, a milkshake, all of it, because I would have been unalived. That's some Gen Z talk for you. How about that? Is it Gen Z? I don't know. I do. Lala is at this point, for her to be this goddamn triggered by Rachel, I understand her being upset about the Katie kiss, but man, it just felt so out of place. But I know it's one of those things it's trusting your gut. I don't know. So this is another bone I have to pick with Rachel. One of many. I've picked an entire skeleton at this point. Rachel is so fucking annoying. Trying to change who she's walking down the aisle with to be Schwartz. What a psychopath. You're not actually getting married. You know that, right? Like, who cares? You walk down the aisle with them, okay? And it didn't even even if they had to stand up there at the altar, which they didn't even stand up at the altar, they got to go sit down and actually watch the ceremony. But you go walk up it, you walk down it, and then you walk together during the reception. In the introduction for the reception, I should say. Why the fuck do you care who you're walking down the aisle with? So weird and annoying. But then when James and Allie are at the pool and Schwartz, dude, running up to them being like, hey, can I come sit with you? No one wants to hang out with me. They're all hungover and stuff. Like, great. Sure. Okay. You can tell they absolutely do not want to be sitting there. James is being quite gracious for it being James, I would say. Okay. So James, you've got to stop acting like you care. Why are you acting so possessive over Rachel? You don't like her anymore. You don't love her anymore. You are love bombing everyone around you about how in love you are with Allie. Dude, you're showing your cards too much. Stop. Why the fuck do you care? But I did find it weird that Schwartz is like trying to pretend like he didn't remember making out with her. What the fuck, man? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. How are you a grown man getting blackout drunk like that? Like, I understand having like a fun night, but like to be blackout drunk to where you don't remember physically making out with someone, and you're at a point in your life where you know how to drink alcohol. Clearly he drinks alcohol every day. Oh my God. Okay. And then, Schwartz comparing his makeout with Raquel to being the frog turning into the prince. Something about it gave me such like Good Luck Chuck vibes. Do you remember that movie? The one with Dane Cook and Jessica Alba, where no matter what, like whoever ends up hooking up with this guy, Chuck, Dane Cook, they end up meeting their soulmate and getting married immediately after, to the point where women were trying to hook up with him so that they could go meet their husband. And he wanted to fall in love, whatever. Do you know one time when I lived in LA? Well, one time I ran into Dane Cook with a friend who actually like knew him. This was before this next part. And I thought it was a great time after my friend and I had been drinking. My friend Lauren from Oklahoma, not the Lauren who was in my wedding, but a different Lauren who I went to high school with, and she's it all. I'm not going to repeat anyone's last names on here. Now, Lauren was like, Dane Cook, what are you doing? And Dane was like, oh, hey, yeah, whatever. They knew each other from like a Red Bull, like something about promoting Red Bull. And I thought it was a great time to quote his car alarm joke to him. And the way he just looked at me like, cool. I felt like an idiot. And then, this was quite a few years later. I was on the dating app and he's on it. So I'm like, oh my God, I'll swipe right, see what happens. We match. And he, instead of like even starting a conversation, just asks me, well, just come over to my house. Sir, for all I know, you could be an actual serial killer. I am not coming to your home. Thank you, though. He unmatched me for not immediately coming over to his house. I was like, okay, know what you wanted. I'll go. You fuck off, and I will too. Cool story. But yeah, very good luck, Chucky, of him. Wait, this is just... All right, we're going. All right. Schwartz, here's the thing about saying that the kiss was platonic. All right. I'm going to explain something to you. Afterward, you felt platonic feelings for her. That was not a platonic kiss. A platonic kiss, in order for it to be platonic, you have to go in with the intent of zero romantic interest. Does this make sense to you? So if I go in to give, I don't know, an uncle a kiss, not like the one that you shared with Rachel, who it felt like an uncle kiss that was inappropriate. But if I'm going to go kiss my uncle or my grandfather on the cheek, I am going in, and they are going in with the intent of it being a friendly love family type of thing. You know, love, 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 family type of thing. Okay? It's not afterward. That is when you can say, oh yeah, that kiss felt platonic. That was not a platonic kiss. The intent for platonic starts before the kiss. Okay? So you sound like an idiot, and then trying to then say, what, are you being facetious? James, how also do you not know what the word facetious means? It drives me nuts when people okay. Schwartz, go ahead and give James your word of the day calendar. He needs it too. Okay? I do believe that Schwartz knew at this point. And I think he was probably already seeing Joe, because remember, her stuff was already at his place and she was staying with him. Guys, it's not that hard. These Schwartz and Sandy really think that we are so stupid that we honestly believe the bullshit that they're spewing us. Guys, we're smarter than that. We are. We just are. And you're not going to convince me otherwise. There we go. Excuse me for taking a sip of water here. Now, because we are so much smarter than that, he was kind of grilled by, I'd say, not grilled. We won't call it grilled. We'll say he was asked about it being that Schwartz was a shield for him and the Raquel thing. And I don't know. Okay, we're going to move on from that. We've been there. The Greg and Lisa scene was so weird. I'm sorry. I just didn't need it. It's fine. I didn't need it. But I just don't care. Okay. So Lala and Sheena, when Lala goes to Sheena's room to have a chit chat with her because Sheena was so upset she didn't show up to the white party. I don't know if Lala has like a psychic she talks to, if she has a crystal ball, what it is, but she was on it, is all I'm going to say. So I'm going to quote this because it was so particular. Lala says to Sheena, I want to surround myself with women that want to rally around each other and support and bring each other up. Raquel reminds me of the girls who would go and be with Randall, like the dirtiness of it. And Sheena says to her, I don't think so. And Lala says 100%, and no one can convince me otherwise. Rachel is this certain caliber of chick, is one of those certain caliber, I'm sorry. This is a certain caliber of chick who doesn't think about anybody but their insecure selves. Wow. And yeah, I get it. Like, she's upset because Rachel's making her friend Katie, which I, feel the way she felt when Randall was doing all this shit. And yeah, that's shitty. It was just not that hard unless, God, because it's like, oh, unless you two really just felt such a connection that you were in love. Nope, that was you and Sandoval, Rachel. All right. Now what Lala says to Sheena, this is hard because, yes, Lala is telling her the truth. And yes, we do need truth tellers and friends. But this even hurt my feelings a little bit. Yes, it's absolutely accurate that everyone else has shit going on and that, Sheena's wedding is not the most important thing to these people. That, yes, Sheena's wedding is most important to her, as in important to Sheena. It is Sheena's most important thing because it's Sheena's wedding. But Lala, you didn't have to say that to her. God. Why? You didn't have to. Yeah. And Sheena's face when she said that, it just kind of hurt me for her. It was like she kind of was embarrassed a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if embarrassed is the right word, but she felt that. And Sheena, I do have to say this, babe. If you wanted your wedding to be more drama-free and all about you and your wedding, you should have focused on the wedding and your husband and your daughter and the people who showed up that were actually there, even though they have shit going on in their lives, that were there to focus solely on you and your wedding. and that found your wedding that weekend to be the most important thing because that's why they flew there. So you should have focused on that instead of worrying about Schwartz making out with someone. Okay? That's where we went wrong. That's where the train fell off the rails, okay? And yeah, you know what? Scheana was being a chill bride for her being Scheana. And I get that, and I'm fairly certain people could probably say the same type of thing for me, that it's like, you're not actually chill, but for you and it being your wedding, you're being pretty chill. That's just, I get it. I just felt bad for her when Lala said that to her. Not Schwartz high-fiving Rachel. No. Oh my God. Sorry, that was so loud that I said that. But oh my God, it was so awkward. And so did y'all notice when they first sit down at the table, Schwartz is sitting between Rachel and Sandoval, and then she switches seats. Maybe it was because she was seated next to James, but I don't totally buy that that's the only reason. And now she's in between the two Toms. Go figure. Go figure. And also, you know what? I love a good hibachi restaurant. Everyone needs to leave it alone and not knock hibachi restaurants. Okay. It's fun. It's delicious. Go away. They're fun. Oh my God. And then at dinner when James is going in on Rachel saying, so you made out with Peter, Schwartz. Who else did you make out with? Tom Sandoval. Tom Sandoval at this point. Tom Sandoval. It's true. And she's like, I'm just trying to live a little. And he goes, you seem a bit lost, but that it has nothing to do with me. I'm doing a Cockney accent. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. And basically he's just pissed that Schwartz and Rachel allegedly have chemistry. There was no chemistry there. None whatsoever. Not even a little poof of smoke. Nothing. And that they won't just admit to it. Whatever. It's not. Schwartz explaining that they have no actual romantic connection, that sent me to the moon and back, because Rachel trying to convince us in confessional, that was a little heartbreaking. No, it wasn't. You're only upset that a man at all was not interested in you. Okay? Because then Jesus, James, really? So no, he's not actually wrong in his stance here, but it's he's trying to slut shame her for making out with guys in the group. And listen, James, go on to say, after we were together 5 years and engaged. Now, here's the problem here. You opened the door for her to make a very excellent point. She doesn't make a lot of those. No, she does not. So you really gave her a great opportunity here. Because then she gets to say to you, yeah, you had a new girlfriend 3 weeks after we broke up. Bruh, what can I say to you? You idiot. Oh my God, because then he goes in. So he says to her, I'm totally more in love with her than I've ever been in my life. And I don't think I was ever in love with you, and thank God we never got married. Jesus fucking Christ, James, why? Do you think you'll be able to walk around talking to people like that when you're 45 and no one gives a flying fuck that you were on this show anymore? You better hope DJing works out for you, because no one's going to let you speak to them that way at that point. You know that, right? Yes, you have grown into being an attractive man, but you're going to start looking real unattractive to a lot of people if you keep talking that way. And especially, this is what's frustrating. It's the atrociousness with the just shit that comes out of his mouth. And Allie is sitting right next to him as he's saying all of this. If I were Allie, I would have been out of my skin. I would have left my skin suit, been gone. I cannot. Out of your mind. Oh my God. Did y'all notice there was a shot of multiple bottles of Casa Azul? Giselle is rolling over in her proverbial grave. Yeah, so Allie and James leave and go have dinner with Katie, Christina, and Lala, which, again, it's surprising me how they're just continuous. He and Allie by proxy are continuously going and hanging out with Katie, Christina, and Lala. It was not what I was expecting for this weekend. Kind of surprising, right? Mm-hmm. So they go to dinner. Okay. And when Katie says that she wants to light Raquel and Schwartz on fucking fire, I mean, again, I'm shocked where we are that Katie is confiding like how she actually feels to James Kennedy and Lala of all people. And James is empathizing and agreeing with her. Man, the mutual hate of someone is a powerful thing. I am not even remotely surprised that Sheena and Brock already got married. They were going to try and do it real quick after they got engaged. And, you know, they wanted to do that. They have a daughter. I get that. So I'm surprised everyone else was so shocked by it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not the least bit surprised. Rachel then wants to change again who she's walking down the aisle with. Why do you care so much? As a pageant girl and as a model, a walk down any aisle/runway is very important. Schwartz was so awkward. Plus, Joey is like a really good walker. Are you out of your... Rachel, you give pageant girls a bad name. It is not that... Okay, I'm going to stop. So when Sheena was recounting what her first wedding was like, you know, again, this is where I'm really empathizing with her and can really understand her. You know, you just know in your gut when something's wrong, okay? Which, by the way, did I ever tell y'all what happened when I got married? Oh, yeah. So about less than maybe an hour, not even, before I was supposed to walk down the aisle, I'm going to say 25 to 30, probably closer to 30-pound jewelry box lid that I was looking through for photos slammed down on my nose, hit it so hard I saw stars, and even had like the tiniest, slightest little cut on it. Before my wedding, y'all cannot tell me that there are not spirit guides trying to stop you from doing shit sometimes. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. I have a wonderful, beautiful child that I'm so grateful I got. And, you know, but man, can you believe that? My nose started swelling up so quickly. We grabbed one of my nephew's teething rings out of the freezer, and it was one that like had like 3D prints of stars and hearts and moons. We put it on my nose. My nose was swelling so fast that there were indents in my nose of stars. Oh, anyway. Okay. So, Sheena looks so stunning. Oh my God, how beautiful was she? Oh, it was so gorgeous. And I was pleasantly surprised by the scene of Katie and Christina looking and watching the wedding over the balcony, because they were not being mean girls, in my opinion. I do believe that Katie was hurting in her heart a lot when she was watching this happening. And so, of course, she wasn't going to have a huge smile on her face. I understand that feeling and can empathize, again, that word, so much with her on that. It's like you want to be happy, and maybe she doesn't necessarily want to be happy for Sheena at that moment or really at all. So I'm not even going to try and say that. But even in life, you want to be happy for people when they have these great moments going on. But if you're going through something, my God, it is hard to watch and be happy, or at least genuinely. So I'm sorry, but y'all aren't going to get me on that. What you are going to get me on, oh my God, Summer Moon. Oh, that child. I'm sorry. I know I keep harping on. It's so weird that I keep going on about the appearance of someone else's child, but she is so gorgeous. I have to tell y'all, my son, who's turning 2 in July, I had it on the TV downstairs just because I didn't get to fully watch it last night. And when he saw Summer Moon on the screen, I shit you not, he just stopped and stared. I mean, I think he just was like, what a beautiful person who's also tiny like me. God, she's such a gorgeous little child. Ugh. And the wedding, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I love the idea that you could have your child at your wedding. And I know there's that archaic bullshit about the cart before the horse, and that most people are like, oh, you better get married before you have the kid. Fuck off, okay? Because how wonderful to have your tiny person there to see you and be part of your day. That just, it got me in my feels. The whole thing just really choked me up a bit. And so, yes, we did get, I'm going to go ahead and go here. We got the Tequila Katie style text to Schwartz. And honestly, I know y'all, again, are so sick of me sticking up for Katie, but here's the thing. I have always felt for her. Sorry, but I have. That's it. And I know people take issue with her and her past behavior. I got it. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I do wish that she had not said, I hate you 4 times. In that text, she could have left the text with the portion of the one fucking thing, the kind of hate and anger I feel for you. You can't imagine I never want to see or speak to you again. She could have just said that. The 4 I hate yous, maybe that part was too far. When Katie and Christina are at dinner, the way Schwartz thinks he can just waltz right in. And yes, Christina, how did you know they were there? Because, well, babe, the cameras, the lights, and probably the sign on the door that says, hey, notice of public filming. Okay. So the way he had the actual audacity to come up and eat a little cut of the roll, oh my God, I would have lost my shit. Okay. This, Katie, is what I would rather see than her string of drunk, angry texts. So, Katie, I want you to know, stop sending the text. Do what you did here. This, great. We don't need the text messages. You didn't need to do that. That was poor choice, okay? But hey, we're all living and learning. When she says to Schwartz, I am done with you disrespecting me, girl, yes, that was it. That was it right there. The disrespect. He is disrespectful of you because he doesn't give a flying fuck, and he never has. And here's where we know. She says, I never had hatred for you, and now I do. So what does he say? That sucks for you. What arrogance. Then she says, I thought you actually cared about me and my feelings. And he says, I do care about you. And she goes, no, you don't. And what does he say? To completely prove her point, your feelings can be exhausting. I'm not going to lie. It's just the arrogance and the complete dickheadishness. And then she says, get the fuck out of my face. I think you're pathetic. I think you're a drunk, and I think you're a loser. Yeah, you instigated that, sir. And he's like, oh, this does not affect me at all because I don't give a fuck anymore. I love you, but it does not hurt me. I am disconnected from you. Tom, you literally just said you care about her, and then you go on to say this and add the next sentence onto it. You know what you need? Is humility. You don't know what that is. You don't know what fucking humility is. Tom, you don't know what humility is because you don't know how to be considerate of anyone except for Tom Sandoval. And I just, wow, it's also how much you're growing, Tom, that you were like, oh gosh, guess you need to take a break from someone when you decide you have to get a divorce. It's not very healthy to hang out with them. No fucking shit. Then Rachel says to Lala, can I talk to you? I thought Lala was very nice when she sat down, and Rachel's like, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I appreciate that Raquel apologized to Lala about the comment at the pool party when she was like, you're just giving mistress bimbo vibes. Like that. Oh my God. And okay, we're going to take off the hat for a second that we know what's happening and what she did and what she's doing at this time, right? Yeah, everyone was judging the shit out of her in Vegas. They were laughing at her, not with her. They were being very mean. I don't agree with Lala saying they were not judging her. That's a lie. They were being mean to her. They were being mean girls. And it really, at that point, was not warranted. And she didn't deserve it as far as we knew. Period. End of statement. That's it. At the same time, I do believe Lala had a gut feeling, but she did not have enough to go off of it to be that rude to her. Okay? So that's it. But then when Rachel thinks she's going to give a read, you guys need to get a hobby if all you can do is talk about me. Rachel. So then she says, this is very, I take accountability for making out with Schwartz. Pause. But I feel like there's a million other things I could have done that would have been a lot worse. Oh, no shit. No shit. No shit. I just... All right. Then Lala says to her the truth, which is that Rachel places her self-worth in attention from men and that she thinks she's going to have a mental breakdown soon and she's going to need some love and support. My God, the accuracy in that. And then when Lala gets up and leaves, Rachel sticks her tongue out at her. You are so sophomoric. It's just beyond. And yeah, it is kind of crazy that Sheena had the same officiant for both weddings. I don't know. He must be a friend of the family or something. There must be something there. And yeah, Katie's seeing a 25-year-old labeling herself a puma instead of a cougar. We don't really have great words like that for men. Which fair point, but yeah, we just call them lecherous mostly. And I am very sorry. I'm not overly impressed by this young man, but we will see next week. And also what we're going to see next week is that Rachel finds out that Oliver's still married, and yet she goes ahead and goes out with him. Just whatever. Cool, Rachel. Cool. Okay, friends, that's the end of this episode for today. Please be sure and follow Besties by Bravo on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe, do all of it. Instagram. Did I say that? I'm forgetting. Subscribe and leave me a nice review, okay? And please be sure and check out bestiesbybravo.com. I have some really fun merch on there, okay? Thanks again for joining me this week, friends. I am going to see you soon with something other than VPR. I promise. It's coming, okay? All right. See you soon. Bye.